The spark of their offense with a passing game, throwing to Sammy White for a touchdown against the Bears. You'll be seeing White and Ahmad Rashad on the receiving end of many of Kramer's passes today. The Cincinnati Bengals have had an odd year. Twice they've beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then they've lost 4 other games by very close scores. They could well be 5-1 or 6-0. This is their star running back, second-year player from LSU, Charles Alexander, setting up a touchdown against the Steelers last week. An interconference game, the NFL on CBS. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Cincinnati Bengals from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, and we have just a perfect day for football this afternoon. You know, 3 giants of the playing field retired here in recent NFL history after last season. Roger Staubach, O.J. Simpson, and this man, Jim Marshall. Jim Marshall played in every game of the Viking franchise during his career until retirement. He holds the all-time record in the National Football League, 282 consecutive games in a row. Jim Bud Grant used to say to me when he talked about Jim Marshall, all Jim has to do is run around the goalpost to get in shape and he's ready to go.
Well, it took a little more than that, but I tell you, I stayed in pretty good physical condition year-round.
Well, you said goodbye to the playing field. We want to welcome you to the telecasting booth of CBS, Jim.
Well, I'd like to say, Curt, it's a pleasure being here, and I know that we're going to work well together.
We are. And first of all, about working, let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals.
The Cincinnati Bengals have an excellent football team, and their record is not indicative of the type of football team that they have. They have, I think, some tremendous threats, and the Minnesota Vikings are going to have to play excellent football today to win.
They're predicting, Jim, that we'll see the ball put in the air by the Vikings at least 50 times today. Do you believe that?
Well, that's nothing unusual for the Minnesota Vikings, and I think with their fizzling running attack, they're going to have to put the ball in the air to win.
Well, we're going to see what happens. The teams are down on the field, and let's get set now for the opening kickoff. Cincinnati will be in the white. The Vikings in the dark jerseys or purple. They won the toss. They elect to receive, and the Bengals will be kicking. That is Eddie Payton at the goal line, the deep man for the Minnesota Vikings. Eon Sunter boots it. A tumbling kick that Payton goes over, and then it's given away to Robert Miller, number 35. Miller comes up over the 25 to the 30 and bursts forward just short of his 35. The tackle downfield by Tom Dinkle, number 52. That's the Minnesota offensive line. That line, by the way, has been racked with injuries all year. They're skilled players. Rashad White, 2 of the best. Tucker, the tight end. Ricky Young and Ted Brown are the running backs. And the quarterback will be firing a lot today. Tommy Kramer hit 54% of his passes. Kramer has 7 touchdowns, but he's had 14 interceptions. 35-yard line of the Vikings. First down. And the handoff. Straight ahead, Ricky Young carrying. Eddie Edwards made the tackle, the defensive left end. Here's the defense for the Bengals. They play a 3-4, and their young front 3 is really coming into its own now. They shut down the run. Edwards, Whitley, and Browner especially. The linebackers will be Dinkle, LeClaire, a rookie, Simpkins, and Williams, and the secondary will be Griffin and Riley with Girard and Bright. Second down, 7 to go. Vikings ball on their 39. Joe Sensor brought a play in at tight end. Once again, Ricky Young rips right up the middle and should have the first down at the 47-yard. Let's take a look at that, Jim.
It's good blocking in the middle of that line. Looks like we got a missed tackle there.
Missed him at the line of scrimmage. Not many teams have run on the Bengals this year like that.
No, they haven't. Their front 3 people are probably 3 of the best in football.
All right, we have a first down, Minnesota, at the Minnesota 47. We're just underway here. Kramer barking out those signals. Sammy White in motion. That's Ted Brown. Brown is pulled down on the 48-yard line of the Vikings. The tackle by Ron Simpkins, a rookie. He's playing in place today of the injured Glenn Camera. Simpkins, number 56. He's a hitter. They say he'll get fooled a lot, but if he's around the ball carrier, he's going to go down. 49-yard line of the Vikings. Second down, 8. Minnesota's averaged 207 yards in the passing game. Bud Grant, well, he's seen a lot of them. And only 88 yards rushing a game. They have not had much of a running game. Here's Kramer's first pass coming up. Fires it out. Sammy White skids and has the ball for a first down. He got in front of Ray Griffin. Excellent catch, Jim.
There's excellent protection, too. You can see the line play here. There's just some excellent protection there. Tommy has a lot of time to throw the ball.
He really did. They've had troubles in that offensive line this year, haven't they, Jim?
Oh, yes, a lot of injuries.
And it's hard to get enough to synchronize an offensive line. And then when you get nagged with injury, that makes it even tougher. Minnesota now in the Cincinnati 33, a first down. No score early in the first period. Ted Brown. Brown banging straight ahead. He was hit there at the line of scrimmage and escaped one man, crossed the 30, goes to the Cincinnati 29, where Browner, the right end, and Simpkins, the rookie linebacker, make the stop on Ted Brown. Brown is limping off the field. No, he's not. Tucker goes off, and coming on is Joe Sensor, the first-year tight end. There's Tucker. They send the plays in by the tight end. Grant call all the signals, or Jerry Burns, Jim?
Mostly Bud.
Second down, 6. White in motion. Vikings on the Cincinnati 29. Right up the middle, Ricky Young. They jammed him that time. Tom Dinkel knifed in from his left linebacking position. Whitley held his ground as a nose tackle. And Eddie Edwards, the left end, also, 73 in on the play. It is now on the 27-yard line of the Bengals. 3rd and 4 for the Vikes. And here is Tucker bringing in a play. 3rd and 4. What a day. A slight breeze, by the way, in favor of the Vikings, who won the toss and elected to receive. But the breeze was just sprung up. White is flanked to the left, Rashad to the right. A 3rd and 4 play out of a split backfield. Kramer looking, comes up now, starts to run, and he fell him down at the 27-yard line. He couldn't find anybody open, and he ate the ball. Ron Simpkins hit him and Eddie Edwards. Let's take a look at what happened.
Well, you can see here that Minnesota kind of collapses as far as their pass protection is concerned. Here, Tommy comes out. Tommy's learned to eat the ball instead of tossing it around and getting an interception.
He had 5 interceptions against Detroit, 5 against Pittsburgh, and then against the Bears last week, only 1. This will be a 45-yard field goal attempt by Rick Danmeyer. Danmeyer has hit 4 out of 6 this year. None longer than 40 yards. There's the kick. It's up, and it is going to be no good. Short and to the left. So he missed a 45-yard field goal attempt. He had kicked 3 field goals in succession. So Cincinnati holds him, and right now there's no score.
Yeah, talk to me, Johnny. Let me know something. If you see anything you want. Yeah.
Isaac Curtis is starting. 85. I don't know whether you have time to change it. If you don't, why, I'll explain it.
Got any helpful suggestions down there?
Not yet.
All right.
Just let her flow. We'll get it going.
Okay.
Don't think you got to rattle on all the time. That's the fault of most of them, Jim. Cincinnati to the attack now. They have the ball on their own 27. Ken Anderson, a 10-year veteran to quarterback. He's been injured most of the season. Gives the ball off to the fullback, Pete Johnson, number 46. Not much for Pete Johnson. big burly ex-Ohio State man. There's their line, and watch the left tackle today, the rookie, the #1 draft pick, third man in the draft, Munoz. They say he's even better than they thought he was going to be. The skilled players, Curtis has just come in, 85 in place of McAnally, and here's the quarterback, Ken Anderson, one of the very best, hurt his knee in the last exhibition game, and he has been plagued by that knee ever since. He has missed 3 games as a starter. It is 2nd down and 9 on the Cincinnati 28. Great handoff again. Pete Johnson with the ball. He piles over the 30 and to the 31 or 32-yard line. Pete's averaged 3.4 carry. A front 4 for Minnesota. Mulaney, White, Sutherland, and the man to replace my partner today, Holloway at right end. McNeil, Seaman, and Johnson. Johnson's a rookie. Matt Blair is injured and is not playing today. Shoulder separation. And the cornerbacks will be Turner and Bryant with Hannon and Knopf, the safety men. Alexander's out. 3 wide receivers are in now. 3rd down and 5 for the Bengals from their 32-yard line. Flag is down. We may have a Viking offside. And the pass is incomplete to Isaac Curtis, running a slant pattern. He's had a bad back, Jim, and that's the way to get your back hurt again, running those slants into the middle.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it looks like Duck White was offside on that play.
Yeah, they had a charge. It's offside against the Vikings, as we said. We're not trying to officiate, but when you see those blurs of motion you know don't belong, you can see them too out there. Cincinnati's been a first quarter team. They've outscored their opponents 36-7 in the opening period so far this year. They're going to walk it off and see where it stands. They keep the down, save the down anyway. Here it is.
Defensive offside.
You can see Duck White getting offside there.
That was Duck. Jim White. How's he been playing this year, Jim?
Duck's had a real good season, I think, this year. I think the 2 defensive ends are playing surprisingly well. Randy Holloway and Mark Mulaney.
Yeah, we had Mulaney against the Bears, and he had a great game there. We have a 1st down. Cincinnati is on their 37-yard line. Charlie Alexander's back in as a running back. There's a quick hit pattern to Bass, 84. Bass is out of bounds. Down goes the flag. That was just a quick hitch. Bass standing there. Anderson fired out to him and let him go to work. Now we have a flag on the play. The referee today is Bob Frederick. So let's see what Mr. Frederick has to report. This is going against Cincinnati. Kenny Anderson came in. What is it? It's going to be a major penalty. No score, 8:44 to play in the opening period, and let's listen.
Offensive holding, number 78, after the completion of the pass during the run.
All right,
Down will remain the same.
They threw the pass to Bass, and then the rookie, Munoz, the number 3 player taken in the draft, the big guy from USC, is caught for holding. That puts the ball back on the 34-yard line of Cincinnati. Down remains the same. It's 1st and 13. Kenny Anderson. Out he goes to the sideline. Out of bounds with it is number 89, Dan Ross, the tight end. Jim, we used to think of Cincinnati. They had one of the more sophisticated passing teams in pro football. When Anderson was uninjured, Isaac Curtis was at his best, Charlie Joyner. And now they're having difficulty with their passing game. It's about next to last in the American Conference.
Well, I think you'll see some improvements on that. It takes a little time to work with things like that, especially in a passing attack.
They've been worried about it. Their running game's been better than their passing game. They now have a 2nd down and 9 to go. There's the pass. Wide open is Don Bass, 84. 1st down, Bengals at the Viking 48-yard line. Don Bass from the University of Houston. He started out as a tight end. He had such speed as a tight end, they converted him to a wide receiver.
Randy Holloway gets a good rush on this. If he can keep his feet here, he could conceivably get a sack.
Not quite. Anderson unloaded it just in time. But you're right, he did put some pressure on him. The Bengals ball on the Viking 48-yard line with a first down. The score, 0-0. Now in motion is Charles Alexander. The pitch is to Pete Johnson. Alexander blocking for him. Johnson bulls his way down that sideline. He has the first down. He runs for a big man. He's 246 pounds, and he got outside, Jim.
You had some good blocking on the outside over there. They kind of, as you can see here, they kind of made a tunnel.
First down.
That's what it takes to get around that end.
You have to have some help. Ball's now on the 34-yard line of the Vikings. Alexander's out. Archie Griffin has come in. No score. Cincinnati has moved the ball from their own 27 out of a slot formation. Archie Griffin. Griffin trying to cut back, darts to the 30. He has been nagged with a ankle injury. He had a big third quarter against Tampa Bay, one of the best I've ever seen him play in a pros. And he's excellent at going out and catching passes from the backfield. Of course, two-time Heisman Trophy winner at Ohio State. Two Ohio State backs in the backfield for Cincinnati, and an ex-Ohio State All-American, Jim Marshall, up with me in the telecasting booth. Boy, they've turned out a lot of players to the pros, the Buckeyes.
A lot of alumni around.
A lot of alumni. 29-yard line of the Vikings, second down, 5. Anderson on the straight handoff to Pete Johnson. Johnson, who broke all the Big Ten records for scoring in his 4 years there, is hit by the rookie Dennis Johnson of USC. The play now is on the 29-yard line of the Vikings. 3rd and 5. Coming in with a call will be M.L. Harris. 2 tight ends in there. 3rd and 5. No score. 7:12 to play. First period. They're in a slot left formation. And in the eye. Look for Anderson to throw out of this. They have a blitz on against him. He throws, completes it to Harris. M.L. Harris, the rookie tight end from Kansas State. He just came in the game and caught his first pass.
They had a good rush on that. One thing you have to know as a defensive lineman is get your hands up when you get back there.
This looks like the Kenny Anderson of old to me, Jim, the way he's alternating his receivers and reading those defenses.
And getting open.
Right. Griffin's out, Alexander's in. No score, Cincinnati threatening. 6:20 to play in the first period. The pitch is to Alexander. Trying to scoot outside, gets to the 15. He's a big back with speed, 226. Had a rather mediocre rookie season. He was tentative. That is, he didn't quite know when to blow it, when not to. And now he's running with abandon and confidence, and a much improved player, Charles Alexander.
They're getting a good seal on that corner out there, and it's kind of opening a little channel down there.
They are. Every time they've run that pitch outside, they've gained ground. M.L. Harris, the tight end, brought a play in. 2nd down, 7. The Bengals on the Viking 13. 5.5 minutes to go in the first period. No score here on CBS. Anderson sets up. Completes it to Pete Johnson inside the 10. Pete Johnson is dropped at the 7-yard line. The fullback, a little circle out of the backfield right down the middle.
You see Pete Johnson coming out here, a little circle right around, across the middle of the line, and he's open.
And he has a good pair of hands for a burly fullback like that. He can catch the ball. And they now have short yardage. They're on the 7-yard line of the Vikings with 3rd down and a yard to go. Archie Griffin comes in. Alexander's out. They have Pete Johnson. He can get you that tough yardage. Johnson and Griffin sitting behind Anderson. That's Griffin. And he scrambles. He may have it. It's going to be close. They gave it to the little man. Archie Griffin, 184. Pete Johnson was trying to block for him at 246 pounds. And the tackle, Dennis Johnson, Seaman was in there, the middle linebacker, all chasing him around. And they'll want a measurement on this. Well, this drive has started at the Cincinnati 27, is now down to the 6-yard line of the Vikings. They've used up the clock too. This is what the coaches like. A long drive with as many plays on it as possible. They're inches short. And the crowd wants to go. They're looking over to Forrest Gregg, the coach. And they're going for it. Alexander.
They're going for it.
That's right. No field goal. The Vikings put in their goal line defense. They'll just try and jam everything up now with their biggest people.
Well, I tell you, that Bengal line you've got some big people on it.
Those tackles, Munoz weighs 278. Mike Wilson weighs 271. Young tackles who look like they're going to be a great pair for the future. All right, 4th down, inches to go on the 6-yard line of the Vikings. Johnson gets the call. I don't know, Jim.
It looks awful close.
It will be close. They only had inches to go. Did that surge carry him forward enough? It did. It wasn't by much. That's Seaman who submarined the play, and Dennis Johnson, the other linebacker. Look at that Seaman in there. And that's Johnson, 52, meeting him up in the air. I don't know whether he made it or not. This is going to be very close. I think everybody in the stadium was looking for Johnson to carry the ball that time. Here it is. They did not make it. The Vikings held. Vikings threw him back a few inches.
That's right.
So we'll be back here as the Vikings will take over on their 6-yard line, and there is no score.
Talk to me, Johnny. I'm okay, doing.
Yeah, he's doing fine. He's doing fine.
Give me some helpful hints. Not really. I'm looking for something that. Yeah, we don't want to force it, and I'm kind of looking for something that I can give you that's going to be good.
That's right. Don't worry about having to say something every play. The best thing is until you got something good, don't say it. Miller in there. Tommy Kramer brings his club up on the 6-yard line. A magnificent goal line stand there by the Vikings. They have a 1st down, deep in their own territory. Brown is hit, and he just escaped the safety. Reggie Williams shut the gap and nearly tackled him for a safety.
He came through open and clean.
Nobody blocked him. Watch it now.
You watch him, number 57 comes through there open.
Right in there. Nobody touched him. And he almost fumbled the ball. He had it down there, you saw. They put the ball on the 2-yard line. The Bengals were arguing, but that's where his body touched there when he went down. 2nd and 14. Vikings on the 2-yard line. Line of scrimmage was the 6. Throws it out of the end zone to Sammy White. He's got the ball at the 15 of the Vikings. Sammy White tackled by Ray Griffin, Archie's little brother. Well, that's the kind of quarterback Kramer is. He'll throw him out of the end zone anywhere. He doesn't worry about it.
Kramer gets good protection on this play.
That's where he had to have the protection.
That's right. Sammy makes a fine catch on that too.
That's right. That diving, that low skidding catch is one of the most difficult in football. Vikings have their tight ends in there, double tight ends. They have 3rd down now and a yard to go on their own 15. Robert Miller's in the game. He takes the ball and he's hit. He's hit by Jim LeClaire Got to him first, a veteran, 55, with aid from Ron Simpkins, number 56. And Minnesota now will have to punt. 4th down. 2 yards to go. Cleo Montgomery is back. That's Wilbert Montgomery's brother. Wilbert with the Eagles. And in punt formation is Greg Coleman. He has averaged 39.1 a kick.
Ed Montgomery is a super player.
He has
He can be very dangerous right here.
done a good job for him as a punt returner. They picked him up after he was cut. Here he comes now. Cuts back at the 45, 50, and nailed at the 50-yard line. Down covering is 55, Scott Studwell, the linebacker. Once again, Cincinnati's ball. There's a timeout on the field. 2:18 to go in the first period, and no score. Theismann of Harmon, a 4-yard touchdown pass, field goal by Mosley. Redskins lead the Cardinals 10-0 first period. Alexander and Johnson are running back behind Kenny Anderson. First down, Bengals on the 50-yard line. Play action pass. He pumps, he throws it deep out in the open. Ball is caught and out of bounds. Isaac Curtis. Curtis had to wait. The ball was way up there, a rainbow pass. And he had to wait for it to come down to him. First down, Cincinnati on the 10-yard line of the Vikings. A 40-yard pass. Curtis's back has been bothering him, as we told you. But he's coming back to the huddle. He stopped. He got the cornerback Turner to stop with him, and then he put it into high gear and blew right by him.
He's got the speed.
Right, Jim. He had that knee operation, but if it slowed him down, it's been just very little. He was a world-class sprinter, and he was drafted a #1 pick by the Bengals 8 years ago. First down, Anderson. Look at the time he's got. There it is to the 2-yard line. And stumbling, Alexander would have gone in for a touchdown had he not got tripped up in his own feet. Very cleverly, the way Anderson's using first a receiver, then a back, mixing them up.
You still can't give him over 3.5 seconds to get that pass off. Minnesota's got to get a better rush in there.
Look at that, all the time in the world.
Excellent protection.
Second down, 2 to go for a Bengal touchdown. McAnally's out. They got the Watson is tied in. Blocking power. Ooh. Boy, there's a touchdown. What a belt at the goal line. The Bengals take it in. Pete Johnson scores, but what a belt he got at the goal line. That's just the 3rd rushing touchdown for Cincinnati this year.
Cincinnati utilized some of those big people they have in there, and they got some people moved.
They really did. Studwell hit him first, and how they collided. So Pete Johnson scores with 1:21 to go in the first period. Sunner will try the kick. Levensteller will hold. Eon Sunter, never played college football, soccer-style kicker. This kick is up, and it's good. And the Cincinnati Bengals score first in this interconference game. They are in the lead, 7-0, late in the first period. from Riverfront Stadium.
Come on to me, baby. Talk to me.
They've had a good passing game, diverse game. A different team with Anderson. Huh? Yeah.
The other one looked good in that one game.
I'm
Yeah,
okay.
this guy's got the moxie. Huh?
Tell me if you got any helpful hints now.
Jim, we want to talk about, I visited with Kenny down on the field, and he was telling me what good protection he's getting this year.
Yeah.
The best he's had.
Yeah.
And, especially
Well, you could see it there.
Yeah, those two young tackles, he said, are terrific.
You can't give him over 3.5 seconds
He's
to
had
get
all.
a pass off because
They're not even. No, they're not even getting to him. Eon Sunner will kick off. That's the story of the drive. Didn't take long, less than a minute, 50 yards after the Vikings punted. Eddie Payton is deep for Minnesota. The kick is angling to Eddie Payton. He takes it on the 5. He's up to the 10, to the 20, 25. Still going to the 30-yard line, a 25-yard return. The ball popped loose, but the whistle had already blown back at the 30-yard line, where Minnesota will put the ball in play. Covering that kick was Brian Hicks, a defensive back. Jim, Ken Anderson is getting a lot of time. That offensive line is really protecting him.
You cannot give him over 3.5 seconds to get a pass off. It's asking a little too much of the defensive backs to cover those people very long.
I talked to Kenny before the game down in the field, and he said this Munoz and the other young tackle, Wilson, are just tremendous. They're both over 270, and he said they're going to be great. Minnesota on their 30, first down. Kramer to Ted Brown. Brown outside. And he's dropped on his 34-yard line by Ken Riley, who's having a good year as a defensive back. He cut him under. It'll be second down, 6 for the Vikings on their 34. Seattle leads the Jets 3-0. Field goal by Herrera, 48-yarder. 4 minutes to play in the first period. Now you see that ball right now spotted. It looks like it's closer to the 33, but officially in National Football League statistics, you always go to the next yard line. So that's why we're calling it the 34. If they scored on this play, it'd be a 66-yard play by official statistics. Sammy White in motion. Kramer to Brown. Brown to the 35, 40. Flag is down. He has a first down, but we had a flag dropped on his run. Brown is hit by Greg Bright, the strong safety, and Jim LeClaire, the linebacker. This may be against the Vikings. Ron Yeri, 73, comes in as holding against Minnesota. So that'll wipe out a first down for him.
Yeah, they had a good seal coming around that end.
Ted Brown's had that knee problem his rookie year. It was a bit disappointing, and had knee surgery. Now he's coming into his own, isn't he, Jim?
He's got a lot of speed.
Offensive holding, number 63.
He has the wrong number in there. Maybe on Yeri, 73. There is no 63 on the Viking roster. Well, it all winds up with the ball back on the 23-yard line of the Vikings. They lost a half yard, too. On placement of the ball, Kramer throws a short one to Ted Brown. He's out of bounds. Just a little dump-off play to the 25 of the Vikings. Tom Dinkle, the left linebacker, went and pushed him out of bounds. Dinkle is from Kansas, his 3rd year. A lot of young players. Edwards, 4th year. Whitley, 4th year. Browner, 3rd year. The front 3. Dinkle coming out his 3rd year. Simpkins, a rookie linebacker, and Reggie Williams in his 5th year. The only veteran in there up in the front 7 is Jim LeClaire, the inside linebacker. Now they're going to get the nickel defense in there. Playing on the pass. Sensor, the tight end, comes on for the Vikings. The ball is on the 25-yard line of Minnesota. 3rd down, 15. Cincinnati's ahead 7-0. And now the Vikings have called timeout with 11 seconds to go in the first period. Some mess up there. I don't know what it would be. And Kramer now goes over to the Viking sideline to Bud Grant. Quite a human interest story. Bud Grant, when he was 18 years old there with a Viking sweatshirt on, played under a coach named Paul Brown at Great Lakes Naval Training Station in World War II.
Okay.
Paul Brown was on his way to becoming a legendary coach, had already coached a man named Jim Marshall at Ohio State. Bud said he learned a lot from Paul Brown, Jim.
I learned a lot from Paul Brown, too. He's a great coach.
And
Paul Brown, Woody Hayes, some good coaches come out of Ohio.
That's right. They've got one there now. It's doing very well. Bruce. Well, here's the way it's gone. If you joined us late, the Vikings moved to the 27-yard line after the opening kickoff of Cincinnati. They tried a 45-yard field goal. No good. Cincinnati took the ball in their 27. And they went to the 6-yard line on a sustained drive. 4th down and inches. They were stopped. They sent Pete Johnson up the middle. He was stopped. They're the Dolphins leading Buffalo 7-0 first period. Minnesota had to punt on 4th down to the 50-yard line. 3 plays later, a touchdown. Pete Johnson barreling over 2 yards out. The kick was good, and that's the way it's gone. We might have a shotgun here with 3 wide receivers. 3rd and 15. 5 backs in. Lou Breeden comes in to join the cut forward. That's what it is, a shotgun that the Vikings installed this year for the first time. That Staubach and the Cowboys have been using. Snap is to Kramer. Kramer out with it. Look out. Nearly intercepted. He was trying to hit number 80, Terry LeCount. It was nearly picked off there by Ray Griffin or Ken Riley. 4th down, 15. Edwards was putting a rush.
Tremendous rush on that play.
Yeah, he really had a 2 flag drop. Well, that was quite a surprise when they put it in. Let's listen here.
Offensive holding, number 73, refused, 4th down.
They refused the holding by Ron Yeri. And now they'll put 4 men up front to rush the kicker, Greg Coleman from Florida A&M. Montgomery, Cleotha Montgomery is deep. Cleotha says, I don't worry about a touchdown, I just worry about holding on to the ball. That's the main thing. Don't drop it. He's been returning kicks since he was in junior high school. Oh, that's a beauty. A high, wobbly spiral. Montgomery takes it on his 33. Now comes back, gets some blocking, skids and goes down. There's a flag drop. We could have a clipping here against the Bengals. When he reversed direction, some of the blockers, they were coming in behind Viking players, trying to drop him. Couldn't do it. And that was the last play of the first period. They're discussing it with Jeff Seaman, number 50. That's illegal use of the hand. The penalty will be marked off and put back on the 15-yard line of Cincinnati.
Number 52, kick return team, illegal use of the hands, 1st down.
That is the end of the first quarter from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, and the Cincinnati Bengals break on top, 7-0. No turnovers and no sacks, right? Bob, no turnovers and no sacks? 1 sack.
I'm okay. You tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we will though. I never got the number on it. See, we've been right most of the way, Chili Will, but you never noticed that, do you? Anything I can do to help you, Jim?
Fine.
Curt Gowdy and Jim Marshall. The opening of the second quarter from Cincinnati. Alexander at the 15 to the 20-yard line. He's brought Bobby Bryant, the right cornerback, and Curt Knopf, the right safety. A 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5. The statistical highlight of the first period, Kenny Anderson threw 7 passes and completed every one. 7 out of 7 for 92 yards. Pete Johnson leads in rushing with 22 yards. They had 5 first downs, Cincinnati. Minnesota 2 first downs. Kramer has attempted 3 passes, and he's completed 2 out of 3. 2nd down, 5. 20-yard line of the Bengals. Alexander, and maybe a half yard at the most. Mulaney was standing up there to help stop the play, and then Tommy Hannon, the safety, came in. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the National Football League is prohibited. 21-yard line of the Bengals, 3rd down, 4. Isaac Curtis may not play again. He has a hip pointer. He had a bad back coming into the game. Now he has a hip pointer. Slot left formation. Anderson, 7 out of 7 in the game. Now he's 8 out of 8. Archie Griffin at the 40-yard line. Griffin scurried out of the backfield right up the middle, and he caught that ball perfectly, led to it by Anderson.
And again, you're looking at some excellent blocking as far as our offensive line is concerned. They've got some big people up there, and they're using them.
Boy, he is getting beautiful protection. They're taking him out and leaving the middle open, and then if Anderson has to, Jim, he can step up in the pocket and throw the ball, too.
And he has a good sight of what's going on downfield.
That's right. You don't have those arms up in front of you that way. Good point. Cincinnati on their own 40. First down. They're ahead 7-0. Early second period. Quick hitch pattern. Complete to Bass. Bass has a first down. He's at the 44-yard line of the Vikings. 9 out of 9 for Ken Anderson.
They've got a lot of people over there. You got a lot of big people over there that can knock a lot of people down.
I almost saw a clipping there.
Yeah.
He hit the 52, the young linebacker, Dennis Johnson, in the back. Alexander and Griffin are now the running backs. First down, Cincinnati on the Minnesota 44. Anderson using a varied attack. That's Alexander. Alexander is hit hard by Curt Knopf of Kansas University, the strong safety who belted him. But every time they've run that sweep, Jim, they've made yards on it.
They've made yards. That time, I think Randy Holloway took an inside move.
They just announced that Anderson has passed for more than 25,000. I didn't quite get that. 20,500 yards, I guess. It's a lot of yards anyway. On the 39-yard line of the Vikings, 2nd down, 5. The pitch to Archie Griffin. Munoz piled somebody out. I can see why they drafted this Munoz #1 on that one. The big 278-pound left tackle rode a defender out of that play. He just like a truck that time, the way he rode him out of there. Munoz, 78, had 4 knee operations in college, the flag down, and there were a lot of doubts. There he is. A lot of doubts about a team drafting him #1. But the Bengals took a shot at him. He's just such a great athlete. He's also a baseball pitcher. And with his speed and his size, all right, we may be gambling on a man that's had those knees operated on, but if he can stay healthy, he's worth it.
During the run, after the completion of the pass.
We heard the tail end of that. We didn't get the early part of it. It was a holding, and it goes back to the 49-yard line of Minnesota and makes it 2nd down and 15. 7-0, Cincinnati ahead. He changed the signal count and may have the Vikings offside. That's a bad pass he threw, short that time, but a very clever change of the cadence. Hut, 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 and he drew him right off. Unless somebody moved. That's it, offside. That's what a good veteran quarterback will do, Jim. And now you had to play against people like that. What do you have to do with that signal count?
Well, you can't pay attention to the signal count at all. I think the main point that you have to remember as a defensive lineman is that the signal count is something that you should never, ever listen to. There are many instances when, as you can see there, you had 2 of the interior linemen look like they were across the line.
They were listening to him more than Anderson's own teammates.
Oh, yeah. Move on movement.
Right. 44-yard line of the Vikings. 2nd down, 10. After the offside call. And he may have gone him off again. He did it again. Hut, hut, hut. And on the 2nd hut is when he drew him off, but he added the 3rd hut.
That's right.
He's adding an extra hut. Which
you see that little hesitation in there.
A little hesitation, and again he had a Viking offside. I'll tell you who was a master at this, Jim, and maybe you've had some fellows you played against. Bob Greasy was very good at doing this.
It's very important never to pay attention to the count, always move on movement.
Well, he could go right down the field like this with a signal count, no players.
Defense, number 75, offside.
There he is. See how he drew him off with an extra call for the snap of the ball. Oh, it's on the 39-yard line. 2nd and 5. 3 penalties in a row. 7-0, Cincinnati ahead. Pete Johnson. Johnson bangs off left guard to the 33-yard line of the Vikings. Hit by someone in the secondary, Curt Gowdy, and 52, Dennis Johnson, the rookie of Southern Cal. It's another 1st down for the Bengals, who right now are dominating play. They're playing really a ball control game with their passing attack, too.
Well, you've got some good offensive blocking in there. That the middle of that Bengal line is blocking very well.
Well, this could be the making of this club. Is Munoz, Uznak, Bush, Montoya, and Wilson, all young players. Pete Johnson again, a gaping hole. As Jim Marshall pointed out.
Did you see that movement?
They're just ripping him out of there.
There's a big hole in there.
Look at that.
Awful lot of movement by those big people.
The ball's now on the 26-yard line of the Vikings. That was a gain of 7. 2nd down, 3. Alexander and Pete Johnson are the running backs. Slot right formation. Lowering his head and bowling straight ahead. Pete Johnson trying to drive for that 1st down. A timeout called on the officials with 10:14 remaining in the 1st half. 7-0 in favor of Cincinnati. Jim Marshall came in here with a team, I think it was the best one the Vikings had. They won their first 10 games. Then they went to Atlanta and got beat there. They won another one. They were 11-1 and came in here and played Cincinnati. I think they shut you out 27-0.
27-zip.
Yeah, that was a hard one to understand because you fellows had a great team that year.
And they had Booby Clark.
Yeah. You have a big game? You have a big game?
Oh, Booby Clark had a big game then.
First down for the Bengals on the 23-yard line of Minnesota. Pete Johnson, 46, not much that time. But what Jim Marshall's talking about, let's keep our eyes on that line of scrimmage now and watch the white shirted momentum just like a tide roll ahead, and they're rolling Minnesota out of there. Right now they have the momentum at the line of scrimmage on the attack. They're firing out, especially the two tackles, Munoz 78 and Wilson 77, the right tackle. And Bujnock is doing a good job, the left guard. They've been running left mostly. Levin Sellers in as a wide receiver. There goes Pete Johnson inside the 10. Johnson down to the 8-yard line. That'll be another first down.
Minnesota looks like that defensive line is just collapsing now. They've got to get a little more movement. They've got to get penetration, get across on the ball, get across the line of scrimmage on the ball.
They spot it on the 9-yard line. 1st and 9 to go for a Bengal touchdown. They were controlling the game and the clock with this powerful ground game. And Kenny Anderson, short, crisp, accurate passing. 1st and goal. Johnson off left tackle. It seems when they want that yardage, they run behind Munoz, Jim.
They run behind Munoz. He's a big one, and he can move him out of there.
Munoz 278, the rookie at left tackle.
That's the reason I can't understand why they haven't won more games.
Well, they lost one here. I did with Hank Stram, and I did with Tampa Bay. McAnally dropped a snap from center trying to punt and left the ball on the 5-yard line, and Tampa Bay scored one in the last minute and a half. Otherwise, they had that game won. 2nd down, 5 to go. 5.5 to go for a touchdown. 7:40 to play in the first half. 7-0 Cincinnati. Pass in motion. Fake. Pass. Pass was not thrown well. Johnson was wide open, and Anderson threw short and off to Johnson's left.
Looks like he rushes his throw just a little bit here. He had plenty of time to throw.
Well conceived play, wasn't it, Jim?
Well conceived.
They were chasing the wide receivers as Johnson slid out of there. Dallas leading the Eagles 7-3. 14:56 to play in the half. Hegman, a linebacker, picked up a fumble and ran for a touchdown. There's a flag down. That time it looked like Cincinnati moving. A right guard, Max Montoya from UCLA, a 2nd year, a legal procedure.
False start. Offense number 65.
I think that hesitation in the signal count is getting his own people outside.
Yeah, might have backfired. That was him, Montoya. So now it is on the 11-yard line of the Vikings. It'll be 3rd down, 11 to go for a Bengal touchdown. Archie Griffin's in, good pass receiver, in place of Alexander. Uh-oh, fumble. Flags are down. Vikings may have the ball. Unless the whistle blew it dead. Down on the ball is 75, Randy Holloway, their defensive right end.
And I think they've got Minnesota offside.
Well, they may have a penalty on this.
Defensive encroachment.
That's encroachment. That's when you jump into the neutral zone and touch somebody on the other club. And that's what they did. So that'll put the ball back on the 6-yard line and make it 3rd and 6 for a touchdown.
You watch the interior line play here. There you see, looks like Duck White. Dave Roller?
Dave Roller.
Dave Roller.
Just came in there in the goal line defense. We're back to 3rd and 6, and this is sort of a battle of the signal counts and offensive illegal formations or procedures and defensive offsides as they battle back and forth. 3rd and 6 to go for a Cincinnati touchdown. Anderson will pass. And it is intercepted. Up with the ball is number 55, Scott Studwell. It ricocheted off Pete Johnson's hands into the middle linebacker's hands. Scott Studwell in the Vikings hold.
That's some alert defensive play.
Very alert defensive play. 7:21 to play in the first half. Minnesota's ball, and the Bengals are ahead 7-0.
Who got that hit?
I didn't see it. Well, let's see that. Can you see the pat? Let's watch the whole thing. All right, that's Anderson throwing. Johnson.
Tommy or
52.
Here we go here.
Johnson. Dennis Johnson, the rookie, hit him. Okay, that's good. Don't forget. Yeah.
No.
No, who was that? 45. Hannon hit him.
Tommy Hannon.
Hannon was the one that hit him. Okay, Jim's got it. We know who did it now. 45, Hannon.
45, Tommy Hannon.
He hit him, and Studwell picked up the deflection. He's the safety man on the bench. No, wait a minute. Let's see what happened, Jim, on that play.
Tommy Hannon. Watch Tommy Hannon come up. Gets a good hit right here. Knocks the ball right out. Scott Studwell does a very alert thing. He's got his eyes open. His hands are well, and
that's the first turnover of the game. That's twice the Vikings have stopped them. Goal line defenses. Robert Miller from Kansas, 204-pounder, number 35, is now in the backfield replacing Ricky Young. Wilson Whitley, the nose tackle, got to him first. And they spot that ball on the 7-yard line. Vikings have a 2nd down and 8. They're trailing 7-0. Just under 7 minutes to play in the first half. Vikings have not threatened in this game except in the opening minutes. They missed a 45-yard field goal. What a catch that was by Robert Miller, a diving grab by the running back, Reggie Williams, sitting right on top of him.
Tommy gets good protection on this.
It is now on the 10-yard line, a little bit over the 10. It's going to be 3rd down, 5. Minnesota's ball. They want to get a first down out of here and get some operating room. 6 minutes to play and a half. Bengals ahead, 7-0. 3rd and 5. Kramer protecting. And there's his first down. Perfect sideline pattern to Ahmad Rashad, who just caught his 28th pass of the year.
I think Ahmad's the player that Tommy looks for whenever he's in trouble like this. Good protection again.
How does he get open like that all the time?
Highly skilled.
He is.
He's one of the best receivers that I had an opportunity to play with.
He played with some good ones. And he now has caught passes in 53 straight games. Play action pass. Kramer runs to the 30. And wisely goes down out of bounds.
Very intelligent thing to do.
Yes, with about 4 Bengals waiting for him. That was Bright, the safety man, and Jim LeClaire.
Looked like he had plenty of time back here. Couldn't find an open receiver. And Tommy can be a threat because he can run.
Well, he wound up picking up 5. He's carrying the ball. Hank Kramer here, Jimmy, said he's carrying it in the wrong arm. Hank has a fetish about that, but he's right. He should have had the ball in his left arm, but of course he maybe was trying to pass before he tucked it there and forgot to change it over. Should have the ball away from the tackler. Kramer's 5 out of 5 today. Big hole open for Ted Brown on the draw, and they have a first down. Beautifully executed draw.
Minnesota starting to blow them out there.
Well, that's what they'll have to do up front now, because they haven't been able to establish a running game at all.
There's good blocking in the center of that line. Teddy Brown's the type of player you give him just a little bit of room and he can get out of there.
First down for the Vikings. They're at their 40-yard line. They're trailing 7-0. 5 minutes to play in the first half. Ted Brown goes the other way. He'll get nothing on this one. Chasing him over there is number 30, Dick Giron, and the other safety man, Greg Wright, a rookie from Morehead State. Second down 8. Tommy Kramer, an All-American at Rice. Looks the field over, shoots it out to Bob Tucker, the tight end who went in motion. Tucker piled up at the 46-yard line by Brian Hicks, the safety man. Now they're to a 3rd and 4. Minnesota. 3rd down conversions. You just saw both teams have the same percent this year. 33 1/3% of converting 3rd downs in a first down, which is slightly below average for an NFL team. 4 men to rush. 5 men up front to rush. 5 down linemen. Off the shotgun. Kramer throws. Look out, it's intercepted. Brian Hicks has it. And it's a first down. Brian Hicks stepped in front of the receiver perfectly. Terry LeCount and picked it off. Brian Hicks, a rookie of McNeese State. Timeout. Cincinnati's ball. Good field position when we resume play. 7-0 Cincinnati. Safety blitz, 44. Griffin, Jim. Safety blitz. Yeah. Perfect timing the way he stepped in front. Yeah. All right, Jim, do the first and I'll do the second.
All right.
Okay. Or vice versa, whichever way you want, Jim. All right, I'll do the first one, let Jim do the second one. All right. But 3rd and 4, this is the shotgun formation that Minnesota installed this year. Watch the safety man, 44, Ray Griffin, put the blitz on him, and he had the wobbly passes he was hit, and an excellent interception there by the rookie.
You know, Ray Griffin hits Tommy Kramer just as he's getting rid of the ball. You see that ball come out of there kind of wobbly. It might have affected the pass.
I don't think there's a doubt about it. He threw that wobbly pass, took something off of it, enabled Hicks to step in front of the receiver and intercept. First down, Cincinnati at the 50-yard line. 3:17 to go in the first half. There's that hitch pattern again. This time it only goes for 2 yards. Don Bass has 3 times they've thrown the ball over there. But Bobby Bryant was alertly playing right along the line of scrimmage, the veteran cornerback. Tell us about Bobby Bryant. You played with him a lot of years.
Bobby Bryant is a type of player that he's going to give you all he's got when he's on the field. doesn't have very much weight, but he's got a lot of heart. He's one of the finest I played with.
You were supposed to be too little to play end yourself, and you played every game that the Viking franchise played.
You got to make it up with desire.
That's right. Forrest Gregg calls it want to. You have to want to.
You got to want to.
2nd down, 8. Johnson and Alexander, the running back. Anderson, pass. Oh, a great play by John Turner. Tremendous play by the left cornerback, John Turner, because McAnally was in the open and Turner just tipped the ball. Watch this one.
I think we've got a safety blitz on here. He's blitzed, but he's not really rushed hard. John Turner just makes a fine play. Knocks that ball out of there.
He intercepted 3 passes last week. Let's see who's coming in here, Jim. With Anderson fading, he's had tremendous protection all day. And that is Bobby Bryant, who's coming blitzing from the cornerback spot. Griffin's in there now. It's 3rd down and 8 to go for the Bengals from the Minnesota 48. Tough defensive battle right now. Anderson's under the gun. He throws it out. He completes it for the tight end, Dan Ross. 1st down. A flag is down also on the play. They might have put the face mask penalty on here. They'll confer. Ross sort of just delayed at the line of scrimmage and then slipped out of there. And they do add the face mask penalty to the completion. And this will put the Bengals now in scoring position.
Looks like Bobby Bryant's down on this.
Cincinnati's had 1 turnover and Minnesota's had 1 turnover. Each team has held on to the ball this year. The Bengals have fumbled only once.
Face mask on the defense.
We'll be back here to set you up again with a score 7-0 Cincinnati.
Talk to me. Give me some helpful hints.
Who got his mask, Bryant?
You gonna take this one, Curt?
No, you do. Your old buddy's the man. He's straight arming him. Tell us about your old buddy Bobby Bryant on this play, Jim.
Well, it looks like it almost could be 2 face mask penalties. You see that straight arm there right into Bobby's face mask.
That's right. That's Bass. Ross, the tight end, going down. Bryant got hurt on the play, and they took him into the Viking locker room. 1st down, the Bengals on the Viking 24. 2:21 to go in the half. Cincinnati ahead, 7-0. Alexander and Johnson in the I formation. McAnally in motion. Pete Johnson with the ball. Running behind Munoz, the gigantic left tackle. Johnson picks up more yardage. He's to the 19-yard line where he was stopped by Dave Roller, the right tackle of the Vikes. 2nd down, 5 for Cincinnati. And we're coming down to the 2-minute warning. Well, there's the setup. Cincinnati in scoring position, 2 minutes to play in the half, and the Bengals have the only score. They lead 7-0. 19 and 78 yards. Wait a minute.
Yeah, just talk to me and let me know. Give me some helpful hints.
28. They've outrushed him 78 to 28. 10 out of 14. Yeah, you got to mark those in. Okay, 11 out of 14. And Kramer has had 6 out of 7. Pretty good passing percentage today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cincinnati's ball on the Minnesota 20-yard line, first down. 6 different receivers have caught Kenny Anderson passes. The Bengals have dominated the line of scrimmage. They've gained 78 yards on the ground to 28 for the Vikings. Anderson has hit 11 out of 14 passes for 148 yards. Kramer is 6 out of 7. Kramer's not thrown as many passes as we thought he would because the Vikings haven't had the ball enough. There's the pitch to Archie Griffin, trying to turn that corner and gets around there enough to challenge for the first down. John Turner, the cornerback, chased him across the field. Also Tommy Hannon, the safety man. Let's see where they spot him out of bounds. When he went out, the clock stopped in the upper right-hand corner of your screen at 1:54. Put it on the 14-yard line. 14-yard line of the Vikings, third down and a short yard to go. McAnally's out, another tight end, M.L. Harris. Dan Ross are in there for blocking power. Third down and a short yard to go. Griffin. He's hit. They pull him down. Curtin off the safety man shot through and hit him behind the line of scrimmage. And I believe they've stopped them short of the first down. A brilliant defensive play by Curt Knopf. The field goal team is coming on. Well, the Vikings have yielded, Jim, quite a lot of yardage, but twice they stopped them inside the 6, and now they stopped them again.
Well, Cincinnati's had the ball control, and they've eaten up the clock, and it hasn't given Minnesota much of an opportunity to show what they brought down here today.
On the 23-yard line, this will be a 33-yard attempt by Eon Sunter. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. And there was a good rush on there by the Vikings, who have been famous for blocking punts under Bud Grant and field goals and extra points. No good, so the score remains 7-0 Cincinnati. Yeah, play that back. Let's see if we can see that. It's pretty good pressure on the right side on him. The right side of the line, somebody was coming in there on him, rushed him a little bit, I think. Yeah, that's good.
Shouldn't have had any
No,
effect on the
jumping.
kick.
The man jumping. Who is that jumping up there? Joe Sensor. Yeah, Joe Sensor jumping. Okay. Yeah, okay. Here's Eon Sunter with an easy field goal attempt, and he missed it. The Sensor was jumping up there. The Vikings have been famous, as I said, for blocking kicks. Now watch Sunter on this. Right away, he knows he hasn't made it. His sail's off, and he just turns his head and forget about it. First down. Vikings ball. Kramer giving the ball off to Ted Brown. He's chased behind the line of scrimmage and brought down by Wilson Whitley and Ross Browner. Oh, how that Browner moved. I bet Jim Marshall loved that to see a defensive end play like that.
He's got mobility. As one of my old coaches used to say, he's abile, mobile, and hostile.
Yes, sir. There he is, 79, Ross Browner, ex-Notre Dame All-American, chasing the fleet Ted Brown behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 11. The clock shows 27 seconds to go in the half. The report on Bobby Bryant, he has a dislocated shoulder. The veteran cornerback. We won't see him again today. Just hope he's not injured too seriously. Ted Brown straight ahead. Vikings are just trying to kill the clock out down here now. Toward the end of the half, we're down to 9. This may be the last play of that. Bobby Bryant, a dislocated shoulder when he was trying to tackle the pass receiver on that play, and he's out. So there's the end of the first half. Cincinnati controlling the line of scrimmage, the clock, and the ball. But the Vikings held them 3 times, or this could be a bigger margin. And they've kept the Vikings in the ball game, the Viking goal line defense. At the halftime in sun-bathed Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, it's the Cincinnati Bengals 7 and the Minnesota Vikings nothing. To give you the scoring, Minnesota took the opening kickoff, marched to the 27-yard line of Cincinnati on 4th down. Danmar tried a 45-yard field goal that was no good. Then Cincinnati took over from their own 27-yard line, and they went 67 yards. They were stopped on 3rd down and inches to go. They couldn't make it. On 4th down and inches to go, they couldn't make it. They yielded the ball. And then they came back to score the only touchdown on a Pete Johnson 2-yard butt. So the score at the half, 7-0 Cincinnati. Why doesn't New York tell you? They like to keep you in suspense, yeah.
Thank you, buddy. That's encouraging.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. Tony Dorsett has been taken to a hospital in Philadelphia. They will x-ray those injured ribs. Right now they are tied at 10, the Cowboys in Philadelphia, in the game of the week. And here was the first score. Jaworski back to pass. Randy White pressured him. Loose ball, and Higman, the Cowboy linebacker, is on it for 6 points. Extra point pushed it to 7. But back came the Eagles. Wilbert Montgomery forced out because of an injury, and Irv Cross, here's his replacement, Billy Campfield.
Billy Campfield, perhaps the fastest guy in camp, runs about a 9.5, carries 205 pounds on him. Probably the strongest ball player on the club, too. Does a good job there.
Now, watch Jaworski under pressure. The big man, Harold Carmichael, never stops weaving in the end zone, trying to get free, and he does. That put the Eagles ahead, but now it is tied on a Cowboy field goal at 10, and they are nearing the end of the half. Cleveland 10, Green Bay nothing, the game you're enjoying. St. Louis and Washington. The Redskins have dominated from beginning to end, 16-0. It could be worse in that game. Cincinnati, Minnesota, 7-0 at the half. Many of you are watching and enjoying that contest, and the Vikes are playing tough in Cincinnati. The Jets have come back. They trail by 3. Now they lead it. Herrera has kicked a 48-yard field goal for the Seahawks in that game. Miami now 2 touchdowns ahead of Buffalo. The Dolphins struck first on a 43-yard fumble recovery. Detroit and Chicago are underway. Billy Sims fumbled the first time he touched the ball. Bears march right back in. Vince Evans, their new quarterback, scored from a yard out. New England underway in Baltimore. Tough game in the AFC East, and the Patriots lead it by 7, but they're only in the first period. New Orleans trying to win for the first time this year. 18 yards. Manning to Chandler, and the Saints lead it by 7. Kansas City and Denver are underway. They have started early because, of course, the World Series starts a little bit later. And the NFL today will continue on CBS with Irv Cross taking a look at some of the best rookies in the league, and it will continue right after these messages from your local stations.
When the government says you're distressed, you're distressed. It makes no difference that you never felt better in your life. What are we talking about? Watch 60 Minutes this evening on CBS.
If they both would score for us, and we can get touchdowns. Go ahead, Cleveland, get in there. Give it to Pruitt, come on. There you go, over the top. Kick the extra point. Give him, raise your hands. He may be short, he's short. Great stand by the Packers. Great stand. Skins are going to get one. There goes Harmon in. Okay.
Is this the worst injury you've ever had on or off the field?
Skins scored again, huh?
Well,
We got a minute 36 in the big one.
Pro magazine about your escapade in Alaska when you all almost froze to death. Curt Gowdy says that there was some discussion that you were burning $100 bills. Is that true? Well, money was absolutely no good if you freeze to death. Or if your leg hurts. That's Jim, good luck. You're going to make this broadcasting a career, do you think? Well, I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot.
Got a lot more in the first down, didn't it?
Wish you good luck. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I'll be back with more halftime in a
Yeah.
moment. Our score at halftime is the Bengals 7, the Vikings nothing. That's good. Thank you very much. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah, I heard you.
I got time to go take a look.
Take care, Bobby. Yeah, you can if you want, yeah. Jim got time to go to the bathroom? He'll be back here in about 2 minutes.
I better hang.
Yeah, you better hang. It's right up there. You know where it is? It's right up there. You know where it is? Yeah. Bob? Show Jim where the bathroom is. Right up there. Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station. Where is he? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Who is? You want me over there with Merle? Hand Mike?